Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm still having a cold in case you're wondering. Today's video is going to be a book haul because I have accumulated 15 books this month so far. There is a reason for that. I wanted them and I could afford it, and also I'm on vacation, so I tend to buy more books for myself whenever it is vacation time. So yeah, I have a few titles to get to, and I would like to start with the beautiful hardbacks because they are my most precious possessions. First one is this one, The Patriots by Sana Krasikov, which is a book I've already read, and I will tell you more about it in my July reading vlog. But I can't tell you that this book takes place in Russia and in America, and it kind of tells the story of a woman who grows up in 1930s Russia and who gets trapped in this country basically. Next we have Marlene by Julie Buntin, which is a book I heard about through another channel. I can't remember which one right now, but this one is about, I think, that one person and this friendship that is not very good for you, but for some reason you are inspired by this person and you want to become like her. I think that's what this book is about, and I'm kind of intrigued to read more about that subject. Next book is a book I had to have, and that is The Accusation by Bundy, which is a compilation of short stories which are forbidden in Korea, if I'm not mistaken, North Korea, yes. The reason why I find this interesting is because I believe that everyone should have a voice and everyone should be able to give us their voice, and obviously these people weren't able to do so, and I find that horrific and also intriguing because what would they say if they did have a voice? So this book is going to be a very interesting read, I think, and I kind of really dig the spine. The next novel came A Little Damage, which I'm very sad about. It kind of breaks my heart to see this, but it is The Sellout by Paul Beatty, and maybe you can see the damage on the front. I mean, it's okay, but I'm still a little bit sad about it. This is a beautiful book, and it's a satire on America and black people, I believe. It was the winner of the Man Booker Prize last year, and also I was very skeptical about whether to buy this or not because I tend to not really love Man Booker Prize winners. For some reason they are too, I don't know, intelligent for me. They are too much work to read. But then I read the first few pages of this one before buying it, and I loved it. I mean, it was easy to read, it was accessible, and it was funny and satiric, and I just really loved it. So I'm very interested to get my hands on this one, which I already have, and then I'm very interested to actually read it. I've also decided to continue my journey of reading Murakami's books, and here we have Men Without Women, which is another short story compilation, I believe. It's a very simple cover, but for some reason it works, I think. I don't know too much about this short story compilation. I just knew that I wanted to read more by Murakami. I really like his work, and so why not continue on with this one. I have now reached the very big hardback books. The first one being A Book of American Martyrs by Joyce Carol Oates. I really love Joyce Carol Oates, and I always want to read more by her. She has published so many novels that it's ridiculous, but this one is her most recent one, I believe, and I really love this cover. This one is really interesting because it's about a man who is a Christian or a Catholic. He's very religious, at least, and then it's about this other man whom he kills and who believes in abortion. I might be completely wrong, but I think that's how it starts out. I actually have this book as an audiobook as well, so I think I might listen to this one also because it's a very heavy book, but it's one that I think is very reflective of American society today. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think there is something to that, and for that reason I find it very relevant to read these days, and also in a few years, obviously. I also have another novel by Joyce Carol Oates, another big hardback, and this one I was given by a friend of mine who wanted me to have it, so thank you very much. This is The Cursed by Joyce Carol Oates. Let me just check if that's actually the English title. What does it say? The Accursed. Okay, so this is The Accursed by Joyce Carol Oates. Gorgeous cover, amazing colorful spine. I don't know too much about this one. but I think it's supposed to be kind of gothic, modern gothic style. And also Joyce Carol Oates, I'm all up for books by her. The next big novel I've already shown you a couple of times in my previous videos, and that is of course 4321 by Paul Auster, and I love this edition. This one is gorgeous, I think, and I won't talk too much about it. I love Paul Auster. This is his first book being published in the last 7 years, and obviously I'm so excited to finally own it. I also decided to spoil myself with some of these gorgeous Daphne du Maurier books, which are the VMC editions. I here have My Cousin Rachel and also her short story collection, Short Stories, The Birds. That's what it's called, The Birds and Other Short Stories. These editions are gorgeous, and this one has been out of print for the past years, I think. So when I finally saw that it was out again, I had to get it. And then this one is just amazing because it's red, it's gorgeous, and I believe that the short stories are going to be quite horrific but intriguing. I like those kinds of stories. I might just save this one for when we reach October and when it gets windy and stormy outside. It might be perfect for that. Also, I've heard that The Birds, which is one of the stories, has been the inspiration for the horror movie The Birds by Hitchcock, I believe. I might be mistaken, but I watched that one years ago and it was quite horrific, so it's going to be interesting to read the story behind it. I've now made it to my paperbacks, and there are 5 of those. The first one being A Place Called Winter by Patrick Gale. Now this is a novel I've had my eyes on for years. I first heard about it some years ago and people kept raving about it, saying it was a beautiful piece of work, mesmerizing, life-affirming. I don't know what it's about. I will find out. The next paperback was a gift from my dear father in Hamburg. We went to Hamburg together for a few days and he decided to get me this one. Well, actually I settled on the book, he just paid for it. This is The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead, and this is the first time I've seen it in paperback edition, and I quite like it because when it's shorter books I like for them to be in paperback for some reason. Don't ask me why. This one is handy to take with me on the train or wherever, and it's about a hidden and secret slavery movement back in the days in America. I think it's historically accurate, but it's also fiction. So I'm going to have to be apprehensive about this one, but I'm still excited to read it. Also, in the book I've hidden the receipt and also our tickets for the Wonderland, the miniature Wonderland in Hamburg, which I found really adorable, and I have to stick them to my refrigerator. But it's kind of a fun memory to have in this book. Next novel is On Beauty by Zadie Smith. Last year I read Swing Time by Zadie Smith, and I knew that while I didn't love that book, I liked it and I wanted to read more by this very popular author. And then a co-worker of mine recommended me this one and said that this was amazing, so I knew this had to be my next read by Zadie Smith. And this one takes place in New England in America and also in London. Next book is High Rising by Angela Thirkell, which I've already read and reviewed in my June reading vlog. This one is the first book in a series of I think 13 books, and it takes place in the same surroundings as the other series by Trollope. I will have to put the title somewhere on the screen, but there is another author, a male author, who has written about this society as well, but in a different series, and I find that kind of interesting. I read this one, I liked it, I didn't love it, but I'm still happy to own it. It's quite beautiful paperback. Now, the very last book sounds really interesting to me. It's a non-fiction book and it is on writing by Stephen King. I'm not hoping to become a writer at all, but I do find it fascinating to read about writers and how they do their work, because to me it's incredible to be able to write a book and come up with the amazing stories and characters and be able to wrap it all up beautifully. I wouldn't be able to do that myself, I think, but I'm going to read this one and see how Stephen King thinks it has to be done. This is part biography, part collection of tips for the aspiring writer. Stephen King is a fascinating author. I don't think he's the best author out there, but I do think that he's one of the best storytellers. Does that make sense? I mean, his stories, the way he comes up with ideas that are horrific, that is fascinating to me. So this is going to be interesting to read, and also I have this one on audiobook, so I might just listen to it. I am gradually getting out of breath here, so I better stop this video, and thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and until my next video, happy reading.